Yes,
There we
there we go.
are.
Hello, guys.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm fine.
Hello, how
How
are
are
you?
you?
Good.
Doing
Good.
great.
Love to see you again. Love to see you again after last session.
Yeah, yeah. So for the people who are watching, last week we had a session with Brecht. So today we have Brecht and Michiel, two video experts. Last week we spoke about the topic: can your business survive without video? Today we will do a second part and go more in depth. But maybe we start with a small recapitulation of what we did last week. Brecht, can
Yeah,
you inform the people
I would
what
love
we
to. I'd love to. Yeah. Okay, so the basic answer was no. Your business cannot, both for external marketing purposes, internal educational and onboarding purposes. So companies should do this. Very important. That was one of the things we discussed. We also discussed specifically on creating thought leadership with video and how about being authentic, also for your HR purposes, is very important. And another key factor was consistency, and that's a big problem for a lot of companies wanting to discuss and wanting to use video. So consistency is key. So that's why we kind of headed towards the point where we say to entrepreneurs, well, at least start out by doing it yourself, DIY. And it's very, very purposeful, very powerful, and more powerful than a lot of people would think in the first place. So
yeah.
I think that's the thing we generally discussed last time.
Yes, and then maybe also important to mention what is the impact of video on sales and on website
Yeah,
visits.
yeah, we gave some Wisal rates there and percentages, but it was 90+% that indicated there's more website traffic, that it helps getting more visibility. More than 80, and I think it was definitely more than 80% of respondents that mentioned that it actually really worked miracles for sales. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's very important to take that into account if you want to grow your business as well. You have to have it to move on. And just as perfectly well as we do, that standing still is the same as losing in
Yeah,
business. That's the thing.
yeah. So video is necessary to
Necessary.
survive, to grow. Another trend that we see is that personal branding becomes more and more important. What we see from happiness at work experience, the events that we organize, I get like literally daily demand from people: can I be on stage, etc. And that is how we found each other, I think 2-3 years ago. With happiness at work. So you are like one of our partners who is always is there, and one of the reasons is because you really believe in supporting people in their purpose.
Exactly.
Now, Michiel, a question for you. Personal branding. Can you tell us a little bit more about how do you start? What is important?
Yeah, well, in today's world, I do believe that having a plan for your company or your organization is one thing, but having the people that truly trust the process, trust the plans, and go all in is even more important. And with video, you can actually show that the steps that the company's claiming to take are actually being carried by the team itself. And this makes quite a big impact on both your customers and your partners, to see that you don't just walk the walk, you don't just talk the talk, you also walk the walk. And those kind of things, when you put those into video, they add a lot of value to your marketing mix. So it's not just about showing your face, but also about showing your passion, to create trust. So those are elements that you just can't go without in the current day and age.
Yeah, when you start these first videos, how important is it to add already like elements of recognition, like logos, etc.? Is it important, colors, or like whatever? What do you add like technically to kind of make people recognize you and your brand?
Mainly, if time is an essential part of your marketing strategy, If you don't have a lot of time available, I always say, like, go for the message. Always focus on the message first, because if we've seen thousands of videos by now that focus on the branding and focus on getting everything right, but there is no message in the video, and a video without a message is a video that shouldn't exist. So if you don't have any time, do feel free to just take your cell phone, talk about what you need to talk about, make it concise, don't make it a video of 10 minutes long or something like that. But if you just go for the essence of your message, it'll be a good video per definition. Of course, whenever you can add value, like with branding, with moving text in screen, or engaging call to actions which look nice, that costs more time, that costs more money. If you can add those, it'll seriously ramp up the impact you have. But it, as Brecht said earlier, it's always better to just go out with videos compared to doing nothing.
Yeah.
I did say that, and I mean it.
I listened.
Yeah, and then because of the demand, we even decided to organize an event in February where you all also will support us, because the demand is so massive of people like really trying to boost their impact by being on stage, by having videos, etc. Now, one of the questions of the people, and that's one for you, Brecht, they ask then, is it expensive to start with video? How expensive is it?
Well, I'm gonna recap with a quote I gave last time, and that is, most of us have like a broadcasting studio in our back pockets. So no, it doesn't have to be expensive. Michiel even said, well, you can add in the branding elements, but even that, if you go about that meticulously, and if you know what you're doing, it doesn't have to be expensive to get that out there in all of the communication that you do. You can make templates of your own, and you can just add in some simple elements like an image, like a PNG image with transparency. Just put it on your edit that you make on your smartphone, for instance. Those are all small things to do, and quick and easy things to do that can have a huge impact. So no, it doesn't have to be. It can be, but it doesn't have to be. So please, a lot of people look down on smartphones for this kind of videography, and in some cases it just isn't enough. It's true. You need your optics. You need some different kind of settings to control, and that's something you cannot really do with a smartphone. But recent smartphones really have lots of AI-powered, software tools that really make this so incredibly potent. That what are the things that are important to do when you film with your smartphone is getting the faces correctly lit. That's easy to watch, and make sure audio is nice to listen to. If you get that straight, you have 80% of your value already, and that's it. And these recent smartphones really can do that with AI. They can filter out your voice, and they can actually instantaneously see your contours, see you as a subject, and get it to some kind of a lighting standard that I don't even believe like a very expensive camera could even do. We have to do that in post-production, and there it does it instantaneously, and it automatically registers on your cell phone, which has yay many gigabytes of storage anyway, which is actually immensely large. And then you can already, after recording, you start editing, and you can instantaneously post it on your own LinkedIn profile page, whatever you want to post it on. It's so easy and fast. In 10 minutes, Michiel, it was your 10-minute challenge, right?
Yeah.
It was recording,
and
was editing, branding, music on there, and resizing, and then posting it on LinkedIn. And then you had this nifty feature where you can speech to text your post. That was amazing. It was all right. So yeah, in 10 minutes, you're done, and you can go about your business. No, it should not be expensive in that way.
And I can kind of elaborate on what Brecht is saying, because I'm using my iPhone as a camera right now, and I can actually just turn my studio light off. So this is the room I'm actually in, and now I'm turning it back on, and there you go, better lit. So this is quick and easy.
I'm just using my stupid laptop camera right there. See what that does. That's the big difference. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah. So we both have kind of a common purpose to help as many people
Exactly.
as possible to support them in their like really in their purpose, in their mission, in the message that they are bringing.
Spreading the love, spreading the success. This is something people should do all the time, and we're happy to
because we all believe in sharing. Sharing is caring, and like in collaboration, that is like really, I think, the foundation of our collaboration is like really, you know, give and take, and help each other without like making it expensive and without invoicing, etc. Because that's a lot of administration. Now, the moment that people start filming, which are the elements, and I go to Michiel again, which are the elements that you take into account? Which are the details that you should focus on, or you should take care of the moment that you start filming?
Well, first of all, as Brecht said, smartphones are getting more reliable to capture audio, to capture video. So having a recent smartphone is one, but there are simple things that you can do to improve your quality, the quality of your video. So one really easy one is to get a external microphone. In my case, right now I'm using my AirPods, but those are kind of tacky sometimes. So we kind of prefer to go with some small lavalier. I'm not sure how you say that in English, but small microphones that you just clip on right here on your shirt. You can get those clip-on mics. That's easy. You can get those for 30 euros wired, and if you go in Bluetooth, I'd say invest a bit more to get a better latency, but that's also still sub 100 euros to just get an improved audio feed. And then when it comes to
the
lighting,
source as possible, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And when it comes to lighting, you know, a lot of influencers have been buying ring lights over the years that makes for that made that sector got into kind of a fast forward when it came to producing good technology for cheap. So when it comes to 30 euros, you can get a ring light where you can change the color temperature, where you can change the intensity. It's a really good way to start and to make sure those faces are well lit, because that's what connects to other humans. So not having all those shadows right here. That's definitely.
Well, it is Halloween at this point.
That's a nice one.
So you can be creative with that, but let's not do that all the time.
And overall, just be aware of what you're filming. Like if we're filming someone and there's like a huge ventilator in the background that's sucking up all the attention, or some things we tend to see are some like banners with text on them. Yeah. So if you have like a banner with text, people are going to read the banner. So the banner better be useful for your video. Otherwise, it's going to create distraction and no one's going to get your message. But it also comes down to the saying, like, perfect is the enemy of done. Like, just make your video, make sure your message comes forth. You can add a little bit of details with the things I just mentioned, but it really comes down to the message. And of course, when you're shooting on mobile, you can also edit on mobile. There are some great applications. Recently, I've been really impressed with CapCut. But of course, you have some professional tools like iMovie or Premiere Rush, who also provide a great environment to be creative with your video content.
Yeah.
Well, we actually recommend using CapCut if you go like mobile only. But if you want to get in some depth with, like, say, Premiere Pro, then using Premiere Rush to make like a short edit beforehand and then sending it over, importing on Premiere Pro, that also really works, because in Rush you cannot use like branding templates or something like, but in Premiere Pro you can. So it's kind of getting how to balance out the way you want it to use. That's how we then create an advice. And give it.
And it's really about how professional you want to get in the end. Because the first time I opened Premiere Pro, I was like 18 years old or something. I opened the program, I looked around for 10 minutes, started crying, and deinstalled it because I just couldn't get a grip of the complexity of the program. But with Premiere Rush, it's like a watered down, a slimmed down version of Premiere Pro. So when you're comfortable in Premiere Rush and you take the step to a professional software, Premiere Pro is going to feel comfortable. Whereas if you're pushing the limits with CapCut and you need a professional tool, yeah, if you switch over, then it becomes a hassle again.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And then maybe a detail that some people forget is subtitles. How important are subtitles?
Well, they're kind of everything. If I may be so bold, they're also easily forgotten. But it's really how you tend to use them, because most production companies, they will provide subtitles burned into the video. But when you're looking at platforms like LinkedIn, like YouTube, if you provide those platforms with a .srt file, so that's your subtitles in a separate file, the power of that really becomes that those platforms can also index everything that's said in those videos. So if someone is looking for something that wasn't really mentioned in the meta, so in the description or the title, they might still be able to find your video just based on the fact that Google or LinkedIn has been able to interpret what has been said in the video. So when it comes to subtitles, to us, it's there is no way that we provide video without subtitles. I don't think that's an option even. Do we even offer video without subtitles, Brecht?
No, never.
No,
because 80+% of users start watching videos muted. So if you don't have any text that kind of frames whatever this is going to be about, you lose people. You lose people like in a snap. And that's the thing. Yeah, burn it in, but make sure it's big enough for people to be able to read, because as you mentioned, a lot of production companies, they burn in the subtitles. It's like on like even a 12-year-old with perfect eyesight could never read it like that on a smartphone that's upright. So it's because those videos are beautiful. That's not the point. But people won't watch it because they don't know what it's about and they go about their day. That's it. And that's something as a production company you really have to take in mind. Please slap it on there, especially for online communication, and also with the SRT, because then the viewer kind of adapts it to the size of how someone is watching. And that's also important to know. You're actually entering someone's personal space because of the phone is like right there in front of their face. So it has to be adapted to them. So please give every possible opportunity, take every possible opportunity to really connect with them on a personal level. And text is, and subtitling is so important. Yeah.
What we see is a lot of people, they start with experimenting themselves a little bit, and then the moment that they need to go to the next step, that they are looking for professional help, then they come to companies like yours to really get the things done in professional way and to go to the next level. But I think there's first a trial phase where they just experiment themselves with filming, with the light, etc. Now, Brecht, do you have extra practical tips? How often? Maybe one of the questions everybody is asking: how can I make a viral video?
So it's very easy. Making viral videos is very easy. So at the back end of LinkedIn, you have this button that says viral. Just press that. Just tick the box and then go. No. Actually, no. You cannot know when things go viral or not. You just have to. It's luck and purpose. Those are the two most important things that make something go viral. It's your content, and then being very lucky to be there at the exact same time that you need to be there, and then it gets picked up, and you wake up and you have like 10,000 followers extra. So that's how that works. And if you don't do it frequently, if you don't get out there in a frequent, consistent manner, you will practically never get that viral flow. So that's a bit of the thing, and that's the question we want to answer a lot. It's how to do that, right? You have to do it yourself, but you can also repurpose stuff, things that you already made, cut it up into little bits. You post that again because it's okay. People don't tend to look everything you post. And so if you give a snippet of some very valuable content you've already provided, then you give people another chance to stumble on your message. in a very concise way, as Michiel already said. So if you link that towards your longer communication, that's so powerful and gives your expensive longer communication an extra life, right? So that's a very important tip that I like to give. And please keep on doing it. In the beginning, you will hit nothing. In the beginning, you will have 0 viewers, you have no responses. But right now, for our podcast, for instance, we just saw the TikTok metrics, and they're not exploding, but that doesn't matter. What we are seeing is that after 4 months of letting the algorithm decide who's good for us for our Video Hack podcast, we can see that the interaction, the like rates between viewers are like between 5 to 10%, which is amazing. That means we're reaching our audience that wants to see us, and that's where you want to be. And if we wouldn't be frequent and consistent with that, the algorithm would have never figured that out, and it would have ditched us. So that's one of the main reasons I have to keep doing that. So we also repurpose. We then take a bit and we cut it up again, and then we give some other context, a bit more in-depth context. That's fine. That's preferred even. That's great. You give people another chance to see your valuable content. So there's nothing wrong with that. You cannot really organically, you cannot overshare on that. You cannot, because a lot of people, what Michiel, was it like 4-5% of your network that kind of gets your post in a feed? Something like that, right?
Something along those lines, yeah.
That's 95+% that did not see it. Keep that in mind. So don't stop communicating. You can see all your posts. Other people cannot.
Yeah, and then maybe important to add again, like the importance of the first second and the use of the right thumbnail. Brecht?
Because people forget about their thumbnails.
Mm-hmm.
Because the thumbnail, two main reasons as well. Because first of all, when a video doesn't buffer or is buffering and doesn't play, it sees that. And otherwise, the algorithm will choose whatever is on the video, just pick a frame, right? And if you're talking, there's literally 0.1 frames in the entire video where you have like a normal straight face. So you do not want the algorithm picking which face you're giving in the still frame that people get to see before the video starts. But having a thumbnail is like actually, and they have to treat the first image of your video as well like that. You have to kind of treat it like a Google Display Network banner, right? Have like the message on there, have like something like an emotion, something branding, like a color. It's so easy. In Canva, you can do it for free. So there's no reason not to do that. Clear message in text, right? Put that on there. Pick a picture of you, put it on there. It's that easy. More doesn't have to be more, and you can actually use that thumbnail again later in like a image post. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
So that's an important thing. Together with then the subtitling that Michiel already mentioned. That's something you should always be trying to do when doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah, and then one of the last questions is the importance of data. We all have
the Gary Vee book, great.
Let's say a common friend, Gary Vee, and he created like kind of an encyclopedia about how to post and etc. So this is like really something to read. Now what he's mentioning in that book is about the importance of data, in the importance of doing follow-up. Michiel, is that also what you are doing? What Gary Vee is also mentioning, look for the you do some trials, and the moment that you see this is working, this is not working, the moment that you do ads, you first do the analysis on the data before you put an ad on on the videos to reduce the money that you're spending on ads. So what is your policy in data use?
Suddenly a quote from the TV show Mythbusters comes to mind, where Adam says the difference between fooling around and science is writing it down. And basically it's the same right here. So when you're working in marketing, you can just put out stuff and never look at it again. But it's kind of important to note that when some factors change, that sometimes that means that you've done something really good, that you should keep doing, or sometimes that could mean that you should change something because it's negatively impacting your reach, your impressions. And basically, whenever we're talking to business owners or other marketeers, they always tend to focus on the amount of followers. That would be the right metric to define if something is going good or not. But what we've noticed during the years is actually that there are some metrics that are a bit more valuable than just the amount of followers or the amount of people reached. I've once been in a meeting where another party was telling about an advertising campaign, and they provided a huge number of impressions. I think it was up to the millions. But when it came to the engagement rate, it was very close to zero, like 0.03% or something like that. And to me, that tells me that, okay, while the ad has been seen by a lot of people, not a lot of people interacted with it, which is in the end what you want. You can shoot some ideas into the open and see how they perform. But whenever something is done, as Brecht says, on a frequent basis, like don't shoot off an idea just by doing it once. But if you've done something 10 times and the engagement rate doesn't get near 1%, which is kind of the minimum you should aim for, because that's pretty average, that's the moment that you have to change an idea, that you have to kill it, make something new happen.
And test it again.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a continuous cycle of trying and verifying the data and trying again, repurposing, as Brecht said. Why don't we change bits of B-roll, as we call it, with other parts in the video? It's small changes can make a huge difference when it comes to some metrics. And retention rate on your website, like the dwell time, that's an important one to see how your content is performing. Engagement rate, as I said. So yeah, it's just about testing it out on a broad network. For example, we've had a partner recently where we decided to go all in. Pretty much any social platform, we gave it a shot. And I was someone who thought that the content would work particularly well on YouTube and LinkedIn. But what did we see after the first month of posting is that TikTok was really taking off. It was really weird because the content wasn't really addressed to the people that we usually reach on TikTok. But suddenly this guy was making out videos that were getting thousands of views, good interactions. So that really showed us, like, okay, well, there is a target audience that might be broader or that might be more specific in another region, because this guy was really focusing on a more mature audience. But of course, with TikTok, we kind of know that you reach younger people there. So yeah, it prompted us to go like, okay, well, here's something that we shouldn't let go of, and that we should fine tune to make sure that it works even better on TikTok. So yeah, test it out. Do analyze on a frequent basis. I wouldn't say day to day, maybe not even week to week, because that's also kind of narrow. But if you can have a moment every month to just look back on what has performed well, and try to see some tendencies, like if there's an upward trend when it comes to engagement rate, you're doing something pretty good.
Yeah, thank you. Brecht, anything else to add before we close this session? That was a question for you, Brecht.
My connection did something weird. Can you please give me the question?
Yeah, anything else to add before we close?
Yeah. I was waiting for the opportunity because I wanted to add in something about the metrics, because we're talking about the views and how they might not be as important. But I just had one side note with that, because they can be important, especially for brand awareness campaigns. You don't expect interaction from brand awareness campaigns. So be mindful as to what the purpose is of your advertisement, right? Like YouTube has a very low click-through rate. Don't mind that, because the purpose of YouTube is to get people to look at your brand, to know what you're doing and what problem it is that you solve. And then people get settled in their brains with your brand, and then they will interact later on, maybe more specifically. So things work over these different platforms. Never isolate them. It always works together. And you have to take it in mind when you analyze data. Just data is just like unidimensional. You have to don't be afraid to kind of interpret the data, make some hypotheses, and try to mix and match those things together with each other. So that was the last thing I wanted to say. Followers and views are important, but within their context, if you know how to frame it, right? That was the last thing.
and a little bit of patience, and then
a lot of patience.
Yeah, and then the viral video will.
The button on LinkedIn. I will send everyone a mail where you can find the LinkedIn button that says viral.
Yeah,
doesn't exist, right?
Yeah.
Just make sure for people to just tuned in later. There is no viral video. Viral. There's the viral button. There's no viral button.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, guys. For the people who want to meet us in person next week, it's 7 November. We are there again with our Happiness at Work experience in Wasmunster, and the next edition is 6 February, where we will show people like that it's possible to be on stage themselves. So there again. So if people want to meet us in person and want to see how we are doing it in real life, then everybody's welcome to join us at these occasions. So thank you again, guys, for being here, and
thanks for having us.
All the best in your video marketing.
Yes, and see you next
Same
week.
to you, Jim. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.